Today we are working Psalm 2. In traditional psalm magic, Psalm 2 is frequently used to destroy one's enemies, to relieve tension, to eliminate neck and back ache, for protection during travel, especially by water, and to eliminate conspiracies. Today, I would like to eliminate any kind of hidden problems in our life, anything we're not quite clear on that is holding us back, any hidden problems, also known as conspiracies. The way we work psalm magic is simple and effective. We take the psalm that we're working and we recite it out loud all the way through once without stopping. We call this an incantation. After that, we go back through the psalm and we dissect it one verse at a time. And we just look for hidden meanings behind each of those verses. You're never going to get all of the magic seeds that are in each verse. And each time you work psalm magic, you're going to find something new. So you just do your very best and you get what you get. By doing this, searching, digging, finding, and then also applying what we get to the situation that we brought to the psalm, we are taking those seeds and planting them in our deep minds, where they take root, they grow, they blossom forth, and they bear fruit after their kind. And that's exactly what you and I are going to do together right now with Psalm number 2. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, "Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, the Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree, the Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, thou shalt dash them into pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him." It starts with a rhetorical question. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Why is it that our ego minds rage and imagine things that aren't there? Why are we living in a world of illusion? Why is it that we have this false self that is constantly plotting against us? What's the deal with that? The rhetorical question is not so much because we want an answer right now, but to shine a light on what's really going on. And remember that the ego mind is not real. It's just a habit of thinking. And it's a habit of thinking in a conspiratorial manner. It's a habit of using our own power against ourselves and creating illusions so that we believe that we're stuck. And we waste a lot of our time and we aren't happy. The kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. The kings of the earth are usually powerful things out there. Very frequently, we don't understand that the kings of the earth that seem so powerful out there are attached to us because we are creating them on some level. Now, we're not saying that they're not really there, that there aren't really bad powers out there. We're not doing that. But we are saying that our experience of them is based on our own vain imaginings, our own ego desire to destroy ourselves. So we project onto them and we believe that they are powerful over us. And frequently, this is what happens when people go after things that aren't good for them, thinking that they are the best thing. If you were in your right mind, you wouldn't believe that this is good for you. You'd see how bad this is for you, but you're just snowed. You're just snowed. People that join cults and get sucked into spending all their money and giving all their money away, and they think that they're part of the in crowd. They think that they're part of the solution, and they've convinced themselves that these kings of the earth are on their side. And what's really happening is these kings of the earth are taking advantage of them. They're taking them to the cleaners. And so there's a version of that we all fall prey to. Maybe not quite so extreme, but we all fall prey to being attracted to things in this world that are not only not good for us, but are very bad for us. Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. This is what the ego does. The ego says, oh, no, whatever it is that's really good for us, no, that's bad for you. Let's rebel against it. When we're working with the psalm, we're asking ourselves, like it said at the beginning, to shine a light on that first rhetorical question and realize that a lot of what we think is good for us is worthy of being questioned, especially if we're real adamant about how good that thing is for us. Because sometimes we're right, but sometimes we're wrong. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. Don't you love that image of the infinite just laughing? If you think of the Lord as being the unity of the host of angels in heaven, not necessarily one deity, they're all having a good laugh. They all think it's just so funny how we believe that we're so powerful that we can destroy ourselves, or that we think that we're so vulnerable about being destroyed by these kings of the earth. And they're laughing also at the kings of the earth themselves, thinking that they believe that they're so powerful. So a lot of these things that we want freedom from, a lot of these things that we feel are conspiring against us in this world, the universe already thinks it's hilarious. It already thinks it's hilarious because it knows that we all are safe, that we are already safe, that we are already protected, and that there is nothing that can harm us other than within a world of illusion that we are complicit in constructing. So this Psalm is teaching us how to detach from our belief that anything could possibly harm us here for the purpose of having a healing in the physical world, being freed in the physical world from these conspiracies, from these things that oppress us, from the problems of our lives. And it doesn't matter what we think that conspiracy is. For us, that conspiracy might be a financial problem. It might be some debts. It might be a health problem. It might be a relationship problem. Whatever those so-called conspiracies are that the ego has concocted for us and says, oh, there's no exit. You can't get out of this one. This is an unsolvable problem. Anytime the ego tries to convince us it's an unsolvable problem, our job is to listen to the angels laughing at it. If we can immediately hear the laugh track, we'll recognize that we aren't in an unsolvable situation, that there's always a way through this, out of this, and into our happiness. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. So the hymn here is talking about that choir of angels, or the Lord. Remember, the Lord is the source of all that is. It's not a person. It's not actually a deity. It's pre-deity. It's pre-everything. It's definitely pre-gender, so it's not a him. And the Lord is just the source of all that is. And when we think of the Lord as Yud-He-Vav-He, that's sort of like a spokesperson for the host of angels. When we think of the Lord as the Elohim, that's the host of angels itself. Either way, it's all the same. It's just a symbol for the power that is the one source, the one force, the one substance of all the universe that nothing can go up against. That's why it laughs. If you threw a rock at the sun and said, I'm going to really get you, and you threw a rock at the sun would laugh at that if it understood that was what was happening. It would be funny. Like, aw, that's so cute, right? And the same thing with all of the kings of the earth and all these big problems and the stuff that the ego is trying to convince us is just so bad. It's similar. It's like throwing a rock at the sun. And the host of angels says, aw, that's so cute. It's a good context when we're dealing with something that just seems so unsolvable to recognize, wait a minute, it's not unsolvable to the infinite. The infinite thinks it's very funny. Then he shall speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. This is all just symbolic because the infinite doesn't speak to the ego because the infinite doesn't recognize the ego as being anything real. But it does understand that we are in a place of displeasure, that we are in a place where we feel vexed, where we feel unhappy, where we feel we are stuck and we can't get out. It does understand that, and it wants us to be free. It wants us to know that we are already free. So when it says that it speaks to the ego that way, that's just a poetic device to recognize that the ego is nothing to the infinite. Just like the darkness in the room is nothing once the light is turned on. It's not even there. It doesn't exist. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. Psalm 2 is often seen as a coronation of a king. In the story, what's basically happening is the people set up a false monarchy. And now God is saying, no, here is the king, and I'm in charge, not you. So this is your king. Those other kings are false kings. So those false kings are representative of the ego mind because they represent everything that you're not, everything that we've convinced ourselves that we are, and everything that we think we're supposed to fight for that is actually not good for us. And so that's that rebelling against the infinite. And it's rebelling against the infinite in a way that is just a time waster, because the infinite's going to have what the infinite wants no matter what. If you're in a state where you feel like you're being conspired against, recognize that part of that conspiracy is to have you believe that the problem is going to help you. What you want to do is recognize that nothing that has anything to do with the problem exists in the eyes of the infinite. It's nothing, because the infinite wants to install you as the king. This is all about you. King David represents your heart chakra. And when it says, I have set my king upon my holy hill of Zion, the holy hill of Zion is the place inside you where you and the infinite meet and are one. And that is right behind your heart. And when you can understand that the infinite just loves you unconditionally and has given you the entire world, you are the king of your whole kingdom. And the infinite's love for you is infinite. Anything that doesn't look like infinite love is this rebel kingdom, this false kingdom. And trying to coup against the infinite is such a waste of time. It's like the darkness trying to have a coup against the light. It's not going to happen. When it says, I have set my king upon my holy hill of Zion, it's talking about you the king. I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee. Now it's saying son because this is coming from a patriarchal system. So the scribes of the system that wrote it down, that's where they came from. But it has nothing to do with gender. It's talking about you are the universe's beloved child. And so is everybody else. There's a place within your heart where everybody is one. Where everybody is one, and there is one divine child with all kinds of different unique expressions. And so that's the whole mystery of the soul, of our soul. Each of us is a unique expression of the soul, and at the same time there is one oversoul of which everyone is a part. And that's what the infinite already created. Anything that doesn't look like that is just this nonsense coup that's trying to happen that can't, won't, never could succeed. So the problems are part of that coup that can't, won't, and never will succeed. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. If you ask the infinite will give you everything. Because it was already given to you. It's just you haven't realized it yet because you believe everything the ego's showing you and telling you and teaching you. But if you can come to a new realization where you are at one with that place that they're calling Zion, where you and the infinite are one, if you can really steady yourself in that, you'll realize that the infinite already gave you everything. What do you think you want? Well, it's already there. You can have it. All you have to do is ask. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them into pieces like a potter's vessel. Now it's talking about how you're the king, so you have a scepter. And what do you do with all your problems? You smash it with your scepter. You just smash those problems with your scepter. Whatever's happening, you have the ability to smash it with your scepter. Now, this isn't talking about how you have to get really angry at your problems. It's trying to show you in a very ancient symbolism, how you are the one holding the power here. And your ego wants you to believe that you have no power. And that's the conspiracy right there. You've allowed yourself to be snowed by the ego while you're holding the scepter, and you can just smash the problem like a potter smashes a piece of pottery. When a potter doesn't like the way something came out, they can smash it and start all over again. And so can you. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Now, this is the infinite talking to all aspects of your life. Listen up. The time has come where you've either got to get on the bus here with the fact that this is the sovereign, talking about you're the sovereign, or you can just be cast into the outer abyss, out into the outer nothingness from whence you came. You can either pull it together or you can be destroyed. Now, again, this is a poetic device, just trying to help you to recognize that you hold the scepter, you hold the power. Anything that doesn't go along with your desires of peace and joy and happiness, anything that seems to be conspiring against you is ready for destruction. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. The fear of the Lord being that ecstasy that we feel when we have that presence, when we go into that place where Zion is, where we are at one with our Creator. That's nothing that we want to ever take for granted, because if we take it for granted, we don't experience it. It should be trembling. It should make you shiver because it's so powerful. And that's the power that is ready, willing, and able to not only cause the problems to disappear, but also, like it said earlier, to give you whatever you want. Whatever you want, ask for it, and it's yours. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry. It's telling everything in your life. If this one decides that it doesn't like you, you're a goner. And that's how much power you have. That's how much power you have. And now it's time for you to allow that coronation to happen in perpetuity, that you remember and are constantly allowing yourself to be reminded you do have this scepter. And what you say does go. And anything that doesn't like it does have to go away in your life. That's how much power you have. If you are at one with that infinite, in that place where you and the infinite are one that it calls Zion, you don't have to worry about misusing that power because you are always guided by wisdom. You are always guided by love. You are always guided by all the principles which are holy. And those principles are eternal, and they guide your every move. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are they that put their trust in him. So blessed be every part of your life that puts their trust in you. You're the one holding the scepter. Why do you have the scepter? Because you are taking time to find that connection inside you where you and the infinite are one. And all is well, and there is no ego. And there are no problems, and you do have everything that you want. And anything that doesn't look like that has to fall away. So any of these conspiracies or any of these problems that you're experiencing in your life, when you look at it from that point of view, you recognize that they're temporary at best, and they are falling away right now. So you just keep coming back to the same psalm every day until you get a sense of peace and certainty about the situation at hand. And that sense of peace and certainty is a communication to you right from your deep mind that you've done the work. Your spell is cast and you can move on to something else and just forget about it altogether. It's working itself out. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I so appreciate you. Until next time, blessed be.